This video is brought to you by Gamersubs. Use code MHB at checkout for 10% off your next order. This one's been a long time in the making. If you're new to the channel or haven't seen my previous episodes of this series, I ask you, the viewer, to comment suggestions of games you want to see me platinum. Doesn't matter how difficult or how long, I take all of your suggestions and I throw all of those games into a website called the Picker Wheel. That way I don't have to decide what to play next and you all get to have your say and hope your game gets randomly picked. So far we've platinumed 10 games, which as always, if you need to catch up, all of those videos will be in the top right hand corner or in the description. Make sure if you do want to keep seeing more videos like this in the future, be sure to leave the video a like, comment below some more platinum suggestions, subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos, and if you want to play along at home or see the list of games the wheel comprises of, click the links in the description below. But enough of the jibber jabber, let's spin the wheel and see what we get this time. Alright, we're gonna spin the regular wheel. Alright, not the wheel of pain. Well, let's see how we go. That gives me some options. Final Fantasy gives me a lot of options, because that's why I kind of left it a bit vague, you know? Because I could do 7 Remake, I could finally play Crisis Core, which is actually one of the only Final Fantasy games I've actually finished. 16, yeah, could definitely do 16. 15 would be a long one, but that could be alright. Do a Final Fantasy wheel. No. As I said in the beginning, this one's been a long time in the making. I mean, I spun this wheel back in June, so what the hell took me so long? Well, for me, Final Fantasy is one of those intimidating series to jump into, and that's because it's such a big series, it's been around forever, and it has such a huge fan base, and I'm not the target audience. I'm not a fan of JRPGs outside of the likes of Kingdom Hearts and Monster Hunter. I've tried a couple of Final Fantasy experiences before, including the game I'm playing today, but never could get invested in the story or really enjoyed the gameplay. Anyway, I was procrastinating hard from playing Final Fantasy, and hence why this video took so long to make, because I was in my own head about it all. You won't like it, it's going to drag, this is going to be miserable, and that's why I kept changing which Final Fantasy I was going to play. Originally, it was 16 because it had just released, then it was Crisis Core, then it was 7 Remake, then it was Start from the very beginning. I kept going in circles until I finally just said I have started the trophy hunting process on one of these games already. I enjoyed it enough back at release, just got sidetracked by other games, why not get it off the backlog, and well, here we are. Final Fantasy 15 was the game I ultimately landed on and actually started playing because, again, I enjoyed what I'd played of the game back in 2016, but only managed 8 hours in the game before I'd moved on to other things. So that was my best chance, at least in my mind, of enjoying this platinum process. Speaking of which, Final Fantasy 15's platinum, according to PSN Profiles, scores a 3 out of 10 in terms of difficulty and takes a whopping 80 hours to complete, which is usually why I stray away from the genre, but hey, at least it shouldn't be too taxing. But if you have no idea what Final Fantasy 15 is all about, then I'm not the one to tell you. To me, at least in the beginning, it's you and the boys going on a road trip, off to marry a dime piece, and boom, everything goes tits up. I feel that's all you really need to know. And with everyone now on the same page, let's get this platinum. As I said, I was not starting this platinum journey from scratch trophy-wise, even though I was restarting the game to get properly invested. So going in, I'd already unlocked 21 out of the 51 trophies, and I hadn't even finished chapter 3. There's a lot of trophies to be had in the early game that I'll say are completely guaranteed, because they're things like use or learn blank for the first time, complete 5 side quests, level up a skill once, things like that. Nothing that exciting to go over, but that's 21 trophies you don't get that sweet unlocking sound for to hit the spot, and for that I do apologize. Anyway, with that all squared away, we began our journey anew. Now, I usually break these platinum journeys up into steps, but that's not always the experience I have, and Final Fantasy 15 was very much a mixture between main and side content. Really, I only had 2 trophies in mind the entire playthrough, and that was weaving a tapestry for completing 80 side quests, and Survival Expert for reaching level 10 with the Survival skill. The 80 side quest trophy is pretty self-explanatory. It was gonna take a while to complete that many quests, but the reason Survival is the only skill I had to keep in mind was because the progress is abysmal. It's minuscule. Even if you run around the whole map, it doesn't matter, it just takes forever. So I had to keep in mind, run as much as I could stomach. I wasn't running miles from quest to quest, but under a mile I was running to that objective, and I did that right through until the end. Anyway, those two trophies are what I kept in mind the entire playthrough, and the rest, at least while I completed the main story, sort of came naturally from there. I did have quite the lull in the beginning trophy-wise for obvious reasons, but I also was taking my sweet time. I wasn't plowing through the story going from chapter to chapter, and instead if I saw a side quest I was going to do it if I could. I mean, I had to complete 80, better to do as much as I could when I could rather than have a massive grind at the end, and that's why I didn't even complete chapter 3 until I was 10 hours deep. Yes, in those 10 hours I only unlocked 3 trophies, but I knew in the long run I'd thank myself for taking my time, and I was having a blast doing it. While I was moseying around for the first few chapters, I did unlock trophies for unlocking 20 ability nodes or perks on the skill tree. I was just trying to unlock the cheapest abilities to move this one along. I also finally rode one of the iconic chocobos, which was awesome. And of course, completed 20 side quests. Yes, this game has quite a few trophies tied to the same objectives. It was around this point though that I did hit a bit of a wall side quest wise. I mean, in each location there seems to be the same few side quests, and I was getting a bit tired of those, so I said nice head start and went full steam ahead with the story. Now, I'm not going to be delving into the story here in Final Fantasy 15, but in short, I couldn't have cared less about it in the beginning, and really moments like this sort of sum up why.
Sick of this endless walking.
And I'm sick of your endless whining. Calm the hell down.
Get off my back.
Are you a man of royal blood, or aren't you?
Of course I am. I couldn't forget it if I tried. What about it?
It's just not my thing. That was until chapter 9, and this thing had me hooked. It still has some of those moments, but the awesome factor and finally feeling connected to these characters was incredible through well-told moments that had me by the balls and I couldn't stop playing. But this isn't a review now, is it? I'm just saying it's worth playing the story for yourself. Trophy-wise, we unlocked 12 trophies for finishing each chapter. Remember, I already unlocked 2.
Look at that!
Unlock trophies for using the Armiger ability for the first time. Unlocked 50 perks, again keep an eye out for the cheap ones. Photographed the mysterious Gentiana. This one seems random, but she appears in a photo every now and again throughout the game. Summoned one of the 6 for the first time. This one has to come outside of moments where you have to use the summon, but boy, some of these battles will kick your ass, so don't stress too much. And defeated Ifrit on normal difficulty. You don't have to play on normal the entire game if you don't want to, and just change to normal at this fight, but really this game is very forgiving, and as long as you have plenty of healing and buffs, you'll be fine for the entire game. Ifrit in itself is a bit of a pushover compared to the bosses you face in this same area though, so again, don't stress. And that was us done with the main story for Final Fantasy 15. 41 out of 51 trophies unlocked. It took just under 20 hours to complete, and we had a lot of work left to do. Thankfully, after the story, I was locked in. Seriously, the story managed to blow me away in the end. Anyway, 10 trophies left doesn't sound like a lot. I mean, how much work could that possibly be? Well, it more than doubled my total playtime, so a fair bit of work. Again, the biggest grinds left were the 80 side quests and leveling each skill to level 10. The rest sort of just happen along that process. First trophy off the table though was a simple one. Flying the Regalia. All you need to do here is clear 3 strongholds for the parts, 2 of which happen in the story, and boom, you can unlock the Flying Regalia, which is cooler than it is practical. It's very restrictive, but hey, that trophy is all I care about, and that's a side quest ticked off as well. 2 birds. I do wish the side quest grind was more interesting to talk about, honestly, because it's a big chunk of this remaining cleanup, but it's pretty straightforward because most quest givers give at least 5 quests apiece, it feels like. Dino wants rocks, hunters want tags, farmers want produce, Chocobo Farm wants to keep Chocobo safe, Cindy wants car parts. That's not to mention, again, keep more than one trophy in mind at a time, but your companions also have quests that can increase your skills, and the dungeons that house the Royal Arms also count as side quests. Win-win. Usually I'd get annoyed at the repetitive side missions, but there was something about Final Fantasy 15 that just had me relaxed. Yeah, you're doing the same thing, but how awesome is this world? I don't know how to explain it other than time literally got away from me every recording session. I'd feel like I'd been playing for an hour only to see it's 4 in the morning and 6 hours have passed, which is impressive for a game that does have so many big time sink trophies. But yeah, not really much to talk about. It took a while, but we managed to complete 40 and 80 side quests in roughly another 10 hours. Again though, the side quests weren't that interesting, and really they were just a tool to keep my mind off grinding the skills. Speaking of which, the 13 Royal Arms was a good distraction too, because these dungeons were incredible, especially the last 2. Hey, be careful now with the last 2 Royal Arms. Come prepared because they're long, easy to get lost in, and have some brutal enemy encounters frequently. I had so much fun with these though, and it truly made unlocking the Royal Arms worthwhile, despite me not actually using them in combat. But with the side quests done and the Royal Arms collected, we had still not leveled up any skill to level 10. Not a single one, and that was 4 out of the remaining 6 trophies. Usually I'd be pissed. All the actual content related trophies were essentially done, and yet I still had plenty of grinding left to do. Thankfully, there's really only 2 skills you can't grind out very quickly, and they're photography and survival. Photography you can nudge along with the snapshot ability in combat, but survival again is a straight time sink, and simply it's not rewarding to walk across the whole map for a quarter of a single level. So with both skills being big time investments, for the first time I rubber banded my controller. I had Noctis run in circles before I went to bed, and when I woke up 8 hours later, 13 in-game days had passed of me non-stop running, and this is what happened. Okay, I've only got 5 trophies left, and 4 of them are to do with these skills. Now, most of these I'm not really that worried about. Like photography just kind of happens, cooking we can grind out pretty quickly, and same with fishing. I just haven't done that much yet. Survival was the real pain in the ass, if I'm honest. You can run around as much as you want, and it's just going to take so long, and I didn't really want to do that because I'm enjoying the game. I don't want to not enjoy the game by making myself run across the map just to get any sort of progress. So I just left it on overnight, and hopefully I should be done by this level up, hopefully. If I've done... it's 11 days have elapsed, so that should be enough time for me to get this trophy. Yeah, no XP, cool. Ooh, photo expert. I wasn't even expecting to get that one, but I'll take it. And survival expert. Hell yes. I really was not expecting that photo one, but survival and photo are done. We just need to grind out cooking and fishing, and then we've got the last little bit, what sounds like the toughest test at least, and the platinum's out. So let's go. Really didn't expect to unlock photography at the same time, but hey, both the big grind skills were done, and now I just needed to run through the cooking and fishing skills. Cooking is simple. Just go to camp, cook up any food you have ingredients for, and do that over and over again until you hit level 10. Fishing, on the other hand, I did underestimate how long it would take to level up. Really made me regret not chipping away at this along the way, but hey, it still doesn't take too long, it's just very boring. You'll spend at least 10 in-game days fishing, and time does not fly in this instance. All you're hoping for is a rarer fish to move it along as quickly as possible, which luckily for me, we caught 3 of the noble Arapaima, as they spawned very close together for me, which are 1000 XP a piece. They take a while to reel in, but they are big XP dumps, and that really brought down my overall time from 3 to 4 hours to 2 hours at most. That's the main game, side content, and skills all done. All that stood in my way was the creature known as Adamantus, a level 99 giant turtle with a health pool to match. At this point I had just hit level 56, so we're a bit far apart, but despite its level and health, this creature does go down rather simply if you're lucky. Basically, equip the Ring of Lucci and hold R1 triangle. This is a one-shot ability that only hits by chance, but is a whole lot better than slowly chipping away at this health bar. You'll know when it hits though, because boy is it obvious. Just keep spamming that combination until you see that animation, and boom, the Adamantus is no more. And once we turn that bounty in, the trophy pops along with our 60-second platinum, and our time with Final Fantasy 15 comes to an end.
Just y'all. No surprises.
Before I do the usual rundown though, I want to address the DLC content. I've never unlocked a platinum and had a lower total score than with Final Fantasy 15. The DLC trophies are abundant, and I went back and forth as to whether I should go for these as well. The reason I decided against it though was because after it was all said and done, I was happy with where I left the game. I enjoyed most of the experience, which for a game that took me a good 50 hours to complete is saying something. Going for the other trophies is like playing with fire, and I wanted to leave the experience the way that I did on a high note. I am, however, going to play the main DLC chapters with Gladius, Prompto, and Ignis in my own time, because I have heard those are well worth playing, and as I said, the story had me hooked and I want to know more. But video wise, I was happy to leave it where I did. So, after 53 hours in total, 27 better than the guide, yes, I'm that good. What did I think of Final Fantasy 15's Platinum and the game in general? As a game, Final Fantasy 15, I believe, truly made me a fan of the series, or at least the idea of it. I want to see what else this IP has to offer now, and before this journey, I did not feel that way at all. The story took a while to get me invested, but when it did, boy, did it. I was hooked, and the story and these characters had me truly captivated by the end. Gameplay wise, I loved being in this world and exploring every corner of it, even if the quests do feel samey, or driving is far too on rails, or the gameplay can get very familiar, to put it nicely. This game has issues, but I'll be damned if it ruined my time with the game. It was a blast, and that carried over into the trophies, because yes, while some do involve their own grinds, the game kept me invested in sticking it through from start to finish. I cannot recommend this platinum enough. It's been one of my favorites all year, and I think that's because going in I was so skeptical. I mean, it took me almost 4 months just to start playing, and here I am praising the whole thing. I'd love to see what else this series has to offer, and I can't wait to see it for myself. Thank you all so much for watching the video. What a shocker. Final Fantasy is good, huh? Who would have thought? Make sure if you did enjoy the video to leave it a like, because it helps let me know that you enjoyed yourself. Comment below some more platinum suggestions. Let's keep the series going. Thank you to all my channel members for that extra level of support, and special thanks to those in the Bear Club, G&T Puppy, Jackie White, Nugget, and Dark Wolf. It really does mean a lot to me. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, go give my socials a follow if you fancy at MayorHairBear, join the Discord server to have a chat, go and chuck me a follow on Twitch if you want to see some of these platinum journeys live, and I'll catch you all in the next video.